Quick, what's your favorite movie with Stan Lee in it? Incorrect. It should be The Ambulance from 1990. Hi, I'm Adam Caesar. I write books and talk about horror movies on the internet. Give me a follow if you want to see more like this. This is Larry Cohen's The Ambulance. It stars Eric Roberts, James Earl Jones, and Stan Lee playing himself. Now, you look at this cover and you look at the title and you look at Larry Cohen's filmography and you're probably like, okay, Mysterious Evil Ambulance. It's probably something like Duel or something like The Car, where the ambulance itself is possessed, is the villain. It's Jaws with an ambulance. Incorrect. The Ambulance is a horror thriller action movie that involves a mysterious ambulance picking people up as they get sick, and it's pretty clear they're being targeted by some organization for some reason, and they get picked up, and then they show up at none of the local hospitals. They're in some kind of private facility, never to be seen again, never to leave. And the ambulance is not kind of coy with that premise. It kind of shows you pretty early on, but it is our hero's job, Eric Roberts, to kind of find out what's going on with this ambulance, because he has like a kind of almost rom-com meet cute with a girl. He starts talking to her, and all of a sudden she collapses. She says that she's a diabetic, and then the ambulance shows up and carts her away. And this guy, in wanting to like bring her roses and kind of hit on her, is trying to check up on her and can't find her at any of the local hospitals. I was a little bit joking about the idea that this is the best movie with Stan Lee in it. That's probably debatable, but it is one of the most interesting Stan Lee cameos because our character Eric Roberts is a Marvel artist, and is we see a clearly not real, clearly set dressed version of the Marvel offices, where he has to go to work and he's supposed to draw however many pages of a comic. And Stan Lee, his boss, is kind of dogging him and is kind of saying like, okay, I can't give you that much extra time, can't give you that many extensions, but he still looks like a pretty good boss. So it's just an interesting touch that we have a character who is a Marvel Comics artist in an otherwise not Marvel associated movie. But this was 1990, and Marvel was not exactly the juggernaut economically that it is now. But the movie's really, really great, and I think Larry Cohen is one of the most, I don't want to say underrated, because I think underrated is an overused term, but I do think it's weird that we don't talk about Larry Cohen more than we do. His films, It's Alive, Cue the Winged Serpent, The Stuff. We talk about The Stuff a lot. The Stuff gets its proper due. But movies, he made nothing but interesting movies, especially his horror output. Although he made a lot of action movies and other kinds of movies, he died with like so many unproduced scripts because he was constantly writing and writing and writing. But he's an interesting director too, in that he directs his own scripts, and there's a real feel to a lot of Larry Cohen movies. The concepts done by anyone else would be done very differently. I won't say that he has the most novel or unique horror concepts, like, okay, Evil Baby in It's Alive, and Giant Monster in Cue the Winged Serpent. But the way that he executes them is a way that only Larry Cohen would write that story. And the characters that populate each of the films are characters that speak and act in a way that only Larry Cohen would write them. He has such an interesting way with characterizations, in that even the most minor characters in his movies, like in The Ambulance, James Earl Jones plays a police detective who gets sidelined by the rest of the force because he had a mental breakdown and then he came back to work. There's all these different idiosyncrasies and crazy character flourishes, even in the smallest of characters. Red Buttons plays a old-timey news reporter that wants to get the story on the ambulance. And when Eric Roberts meets him, he meets him in a hospital. So he's this old guy that has health problems, but he still wants to find the story. They're just really endearing characters, and there's such interesting characterizations, and their dialogue is written in such a way that no one would write them other than Larry Cohen. So cherish the Larry Cohen movies we have, and talk about them more, I think. And The Ambulance is a good one to start with because it's a pretty underseen and under talked about movie in his filmography.